Anyway, they're rare, they're exotic, they're worth up to £15,000 each, and they look like leopards. If you saw the opening to today's programme, you'll know I'm talking about the Bengal leopard cat. It's a cross between the wild Asian leopard cat and the domestic cat. And they belong to our next guests, who are so devoted to their pets that they've converted their home into a cat palace. Esmond Gay and Sarah join us now with vet Bradley Viner. They are absolutely beautiful, beautiful cats, but I have to say that if they are so closely related to wild animals, are they not, Esmond, a wee bit dangerous?
No, it depends how they've been brought up. If they've been brought up inside the house in a loving family, they make beautiful, beautiful pets. There's no nastiness in them at all. One only starts to get problems if they're outside and just neglected.
Now, these tiny wee things here, how far removed are they actually from a wild animal?
These particular
ones
are 4 generations removed from the wild Asian leopard cat. We do have F1 Bengals, which is the hybrid son and daughter of the Asian leopard cat, but they are very, very rare indeed.
Now, does the temperament of these tiny kittens, does it differ from just, you know, your average moggy, your average cat at home?
Yes. But not in a nasty way. They're very, very loving, very, very docile. They've retained a lot of their wild characteristics.
What sort of characteristics, though?
They adore water. We have a 6-ton fish tank, and they'll quite happily swim in that. They go through the fuzzy stage, which is the same as the cheetah cubs and the tiger cubs. This particular kitten's going through the fuzzies now, and it's long guard hairs that comes over and disguises the coat. And just the noise they make, they prowl rather than walk. They rip their toys to pieces rather than just gently play with them. There is quite a lot of wild characteristics that make them different from normal pedigree cats.
It's interesting, though, that they're just 4 generations away from a wild cat, and yet, to all intents and purposes, OK, the coat colour's different, but they do look very much like any other domestic cat, apart from that, don't they? Shows really just how closely related our domestic cat is to its cousins that are actually living in the wild.
Do you think these would make a good pet, Bradley?
I think they're absolutely beautiful. I've never had the privilege of living with one, but I was certainly chatting to Esmond about them beforehand, and they sound like good, well-balanced kittens. I don't see any particular problems with them.
They're more like dogs rather than cats.
Yeah, they're more like little puppies. Yeah.
How many do you have, Sarah? How many are there?
At the moment, we've got about 55, including cats and kittens, but we've got 25 that are residents.
Our pets, our babies, our children, and then we do breed, and sometimes we will part with the kittens to very, very good homes.
And one dog, you were telling me, the dog must surely think that he's a cat.
Yes, he does. Yes.
He does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's your house like then? Is it just basically ripped to shreds?
Well,
we're quite house proud, and we try to look after it. It is a lot of work, and we're usually up until the early hours of the morning cleaning up after the cats.
Have you ever had any breakages at home?
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I like a whole dinner service, a pine dresser. The television has been used as a toilet, so
what sort of adaptations have you had to make then?
a lot of things. The grandfather clock has got glass guards up to stop them from jumping 8 foot up in the air onto the top of it. The dresser, we've already lost a £5,000 dinner service from it being played with and knocked over.
We blue tack all our ornaments down.
Everything is blue tacked down. Every single thing in my house is blue tacked
down. Why do you keep them inside, though? I mean, if they're related to wild animals, which they are, why not have them outside? Is that not healthier?
No, well, these are domestic cats. The word domestic to me means home reared. I don't agree with breeding pedigree cats outside. I don't agree with cages. At 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock, when it's dark, we can just sit down through until 6 o'clock in the morning and play with our babies, play with the kittens, play with the cats. And if they were outside, we wouldn't be able to do that. They would be shut up at 8 o'clock.
What's your view on that? Should they be getting more fresh air than that?
I think it's very important that where you've got that number of cats living together, that you take the most enormous precautions to make sure disease doesn't get in, because if it did, it could spread through them like wildfire. And I think that anybody that's keeping a large number of cats together needs to think very carefully about that. And of course, if the cats were going out and mixing with other domestic cats, then the risk of one of them bringing in disease and that spreading through the colony would really be very great indeed. That doesn't mean they can't go outdoors. People that have cats that keep them indoors often have outdoor runs where they can get out and get some fresh air. But I would be very concerned if they were coming into contact with when I say wild cats, I mean cats in the neighbourhood, moggies.
What do you do about exercise then?
We take a lot of precaution. Well, we've got a large outside enclosure, which is all fenced in, virtually the whole of our garden, and the cats will play out there. And we've got double wire around the garden, so other cats can't come in. We are very cautious about illness. We have to take it very, very seriously. Thank goodness nothing's happened to us at all because we are so stringent with hygiene. But as Bradley says, it could sweep through the house, and we're very aware of that, and we just take as many precautions as we can.
I saw you with some of the cats you brought in far more than we're seeing here. We're on the wee harnesses.
Yes.
Do you take them?
Yes, we will.
Do you take them out
To
the park?
We have to do it. Well, we'll do it up and down the block,
yeah.
Up and down the road, around the village.
But we have to make sure we do it late at night, otherwise we're
surrounded by people
wanting to see the cats and the kittens.
Now, the one thing I mean, I love cats, but the one thing that slightly worries me about all of this is that you're a lovely young couple, being going out together for how many years?
7.
7. Engaged to be married.
Yeah.
Yes.
Are these cats coming between you and setting the big date?
It's coming between us and having a baby. We wouldn't really we love children, but we wouldn't have a baby yet. These are our babies. These are enough for us. It's not stopping us from getting married. We will get married, but we've got our children, and we've got 50 of them.
You actually got into this rather unusual, expensive hobby in quite an unusual way, Esmond, didn't you?
Yes. I had a very bad nervous breakdown. I've always loved cats, and my mother wanted something for me to live for, and we bought 2 Bengals, and they're just so gorgeous. We became thoroughly addicted, and we've ended up the biggest breeders in the country, and 55 cats in total.
So they're a lifesaver, really.
Yes.
Very briefly,
Yes.
Sarah, there is a club, isn't there?
That's
Very
right,
briefly.
yes. It's called the Friendly Bengal Cat Club, and it's basically a club that's been set up for people who love Bengals.
And wildcats as well. The wildcats, and it's to do with conservation and teaching people about the Bengal cat and what they're about, and looking after our members and things like that.
Well, it's fascinating talking to you, Esmond, Sarah and Bradley too. Thanks very much for talking to us.
Thank you.
It's time now to take another